Hello everyone. Till now, I didn't speak anything about Azure OpenAI, but this is the time. In this video, I'm going to talk about how can you get started with Azure OpenAI, what are the various offerings from this, what all things it can do, and what are its capabilities. So let's get started with this. And I have already spoke so much about OpenAI in my earlier videos, so I'm not going to give you in detail overview of what this OpenAI is, but definitely I will touch upon the points which are like kind of very common to both of these systems. And there's one thing, there is nothing to get confused between Azure OpenAI and OpenAI because underlying machine learning models in both of these systems are same, which means if you are aware of OpenAI response structure, all the parameters it offers, then understanding Azure OpenAI is not very difficult for you because all the parameters means the same thing in Azure OpenAI as well. So with that in mind, let's move on to next slide. So what is Azure OpenAI service? So similar to OpenAI, Azure OpenAI also provides some set of pre-trained models which provides offering for natural language, code generation as well as for image generation. So it also provides the customization capability means that it means that you can uh, use your own data set to fine tune your model so that you can get the response based on your need, based on your taste. Apart from that, the two things which I would say is different from OpenAI here is it Azure provides lot many built-in tools to detect and mitigate harmful use cases so that user can implement AI responsibly. No one can misuse this particular system behind the wall. So that is one of the good thing, and another robust thing, and I would say one of my favorite point for this Azure OpenAI is it provides the enterprise level grade security. So it means that you can go ahead with your own role based access controls as well as private networks. In that case, like if you have already used Azure services, then you must be aware about this regional availability thing, which you can also achieve in this particular Azure OpenAI service. So let's move on a little bit. So this is one of the beautiful snapshot. I have taken it from the Microsoft documentation itself. And this speaks about who fits where. So services above this blue line are like for business users. But if you will look at the bottom part, Azure AI, so here we have ML platform, which is like Azure machine learning. Then we have cognitive services and we have applied AI services. The one which we are interested in is the center one, which is vision, speech, decision, and OpenAI service. So if you will look at this particular level, like these four services are already available in Azure Cognitive Services, and it doesn't mean that you cannot replicate these things in OpenAI. These four systems like vision, speech, and language and decision. So these provides you like with the basic capabilities, I would say, wherein user need not to tweak things very much or no need to customize very much. When you have straightforward scenarios, then these four things would still suffice. But if you think that no, my requirement is something else and I want my own scenario which is customized for my business, in that case it is good to go with OpenAI service. So you can choose it. If you can achieve anything with these four services, then it's well and good. If you think that it's tedious or you're not able to customize beyond a certain point, then OpenAI service is your choice. But still, I would say if your scenario is simple, let's stick to these four services, which are vision, speech, language, and decision. So if you're not aware what these services are, I have already created a playlist. I think it's named as Azure AI ML. So you can definitely go ahead and check that out. There are very cool videos which talks about vision, speech, language as well as decision making. Okay, so I think with this much of theory, let's go a little bit more ahead and see how we can get started. So the very first thing here is you cannot simply go ahead and use this Azure OpenAI service. The very first thing you need to do is you need to register for this. So for registration, what you can do is you can go to Google and search for request access to Azure OpenAI service. As soon as you will search for this, you will see the very first link here, and inside this, let's scroll it a bit, and here under the important links, click on this particular register. So it will open up a form for you. Just go through all these instructions. These are the guidelines, like how to use, are you eligible to use this service. Then you need to just furnish your basic details, like how many subscription you have, your first name, last name, and email ID, your address, company, zip, and all these things. So once these are done, you just need to submit this form and you will get the access wherein you can go ahead and play with this OpenAI service, Azure OpenAI service. Okay, so this is the first step. And once this is done, second thing is we need to go ahead and create an instance in Azure, which means that you should have active Azure subscription in order to use this. So let me quickly go back to my browser and show you. So you can go to portal.azure.com and log in with your active Azure subscription. Once you are there, you can search for Azure OpenAI. Click on this, and inside that you have a create button. So click on this create button and it will open up a new window for you. So here you need to provide your subscription details, then the resource group. So you can go ahead and create new, otherwise you can select from the ones which you have already created. Next comes the reason. So choose the one which is very close to you, and you need to provide the unique name for your this particular Azure OpenAI service instance. So once these things are furnished, the last thing, a few more things are there. So here comes the pricing tier. So you need to select the pricing tier. For me, I have already exhausted, but for you, if you have not used, then it should be showing you as 0. Okay, and here is the link for pricing details. So if you want to know how much it is charging, what all things are not are there, so you can just click on this and just go through it. Once it is done, I would suggest you to click on, definitely you are free to read this policy, and after that you can click on next and it will create a new OpenAI instance for you. I have already created, so let me quickly open that for you. So this is the one which I have created, channel hyphen OpenAI hyphen ins, and here you can see that it is like instance of Azure OpenAI. This is what it is, and these are the basic details, and this is my endpoint. So if I want to use this in my code, or if I want to make an API call, then this is the thing which is required. So you can make a note of it, or you can definitely come back and just copy it from here. It is available until your resource is available. And then comes the bottom part wherein you can see the three different buttons or the links. The very first one is explore, and this is the one which I have mentioned as a third point. So in order to design something, you have to like go to Azure OpenAI Studio. So this is nothing but it will provide you the playground which is similar to OpenAI with some more options and easy to customize. So this is the one thing. Then you have the second button, develop, wherein you can see the basics of how you can write the code to achieve the same thing. And then comes the deployment part. So it will tell you how to, which model to deploy or how to make API calls. So all these things are over here. I will go ahead and click on this explore, this one, Azure OpenAI Studio. So here you can see that if you're coming from here, then it will directly point you to this particular instance. But if you are coming through this link, https://oai.azure.com, in that case, you have to choose your own instance. So to make your life easy, you can just click and go and click on this particular button. So this is where we are. And on the top right, you can verify the instance name, that this is the one which you have created in Azure. Okay, let's see the left side. So on the left hand side, we have like Azure OpenAI, the same page which is open right now. Here you have an option to create a deployment, as well as you can go ahead and explore the few of the things over here, how you can summarize your article, how you can generate product ideas, classify text, and how you can write in SQL queries for your human text. Apart from that, there are few more links which you can go ahead and explore it. Here are some learning resources, quick guides, and Q&A. So I would suggest you to just go ahead and check it out if you are new to this platform. Okay. Apart from that, there is something called Playground. So inside Playground, there are again two things, completion, and we have a chat. So here you can go ahead, create a deployment, and then this particular area will be open for you to play. And note that this is still in preview. Team is still working on this. But completion are up and running. You can go ahead and freely use it. Coming on to the management section, here we have deployments. So deployments, it will allow you to go ahead and create the deployment. So these are the available models. Let me quickly first show you models. So here these are the models which are already deployed for us and are ready to use. So whenever you want to use it, you just create your own deployment and just start using it. You also have an option to create a customized model, which I will probably cover in my next videos. So to just keep in mind that we do have a provision to customize the existing models. Here comes the file management. If you want to upload your own files, your own data sets for training, testing, as well as for fine tuning, then this is the place where you can do it. So let me go ahead and click on deployments. So click on new deployment, create new deployment, and here you can select the deployment model. So let's go with the basic one, text adder. Here you can select the version and you need to provide the name of your deployment. So let me go ahead and give some name here. Sample deployment. So it is successfully created. You can see how quickly it got created. Now I will go here and you can see that now this thing is enabled for me. Earlier it was disabled, but now we have created one deployment, so this is populated here. If there are multiple deployments created by you, then this drop down will have all those listed over here. Now with this deployment, what do you want to do? So here are a few examples which you can do. So let's say I want to use, okay, let's go with the basic one, then I will show you. So I want to, what should we take? I think I can write this. Okay, so I'm selecting generate an email. So this is what I want to do. So here you need to provide the description, similar to what you have already done in your OpenAI playground. So it is almost in the same line. So this is the description. On the right hand side, you can see the parameters. So temperature, then maximum length, how many maximum tokens you want to use. You have the stop sequences, priorities, presence, penalty, and all these things. Here you can provide your pre and post text also. So I'm not going to discuss these because I have already discussed these in my previous videos. But idea here is to show you how you can go ahead and play with this. So you can click on this and then you can just say generate. So it will go ahead and generate the text for you. And on the bottom you can see that it is also showing you number of tokens. So it used 264 tokens for doing this particular activity. And similar thing, you can do it for chat also. You can go ahead and create your deployment and it will pop up over here. Okay, now let me try out one more thing. So I'm going to use the same deployment model, but this time I'm going to choose natural language to SQL. Now, what I'm trying to show you here is, let's say you are very new to this and you don't know which model or what type of scenario will go with this particular text adder or the model which you have selected. So in my case, I have selected text adder, but here I'm saying I want to perform SQL, I want to generate SQL queries. Now, what this is saying is the example natural language to SQL works best with this particular model. So it is just suggesting you, it's completely on you whether you want to go with this or not. But suggestion is to go with this particular model if your requirement is to generate SQL queries out of natural language. So that's the good thing which I feel. And again, for translation, it is telling you although you have whatever the model you have selected is fine, but this is the one which works best for text translation. So this could be like very helpful for the one who are very new to this particular OpenAI kind of stuff. Now, last thing which I want to point is the documentation part. So this is the documentation which you can definitely go ahead and explore it. You will get to know what all models, what are the pricing strategies, how much will you be charged and all those. And let me show you here. Click on the pricing and it will tell you that which model cost you how much for 1000 tokens. And here it is showing NA because like I said, it is still in preview. Let's go back and discuss one of the most important question which I received like lot many times. So if you will click on this responsible AI, you will get all these like policy kind of thing, code of conducts and all these things. So before using this, you can definitely go ahead and read all these things. Let's move on to the most important one, which is data privacy and security. Okay, so this is one of the nice diagram I would say. So here what it is saying is on the left hand side you have customer actions and on the right hand side this is the Azure boundary, and the block which I'm interested in is the async detection. So what this block is doing is uh, like its title suggests, responsible AI. So let's say your model is you are prompting for some abusive contents or some not right content I would say, then in that case this particular component which is sitting here, async detection, it will generate an alert to the user that I'm not supposed to serve your request because this content is not as per the policies. So this is the system which can help you provide better responses rather than some junk responses based on some junk prompts. So now question is, do we need to have this mandatory? Can we get rid of this particular system? Let's say your system or your business requirement is something like that you want such contents only, you want abusive contents or you want like not fine content I would say. In that case definitely you can go ahead and raise a request which falls under the limited access and they will just turn it off for you. But if this is on, definitely you will not get those responses. So it's always good to use systems in a very sensible way. So see, abuse and harmful content generation. So this is what this component will detect. Okay, let's scroll it a bit. So this is how you can see. So customers can apply for modified abuse monitoring here. So it's not necessary that you have to go with this default flow. There are customizations available, but you have to explicitly apply for that. And so see, this is how you can turn it off. Okay, let's see. This question: what happens if Microsoft needs access to my data? Let's say you have some legal data, you have your personal data which you do not want to expose it to anyone, in fact to Microsoft also. So in that case, this is the answer for you. What it is saying is, in those circumstances where such access is required, customer lockbox for Microsoft Azure provides an interface for customers to review and approve. So let's say you have your data and you do not want Microsoft to access, then it's completely on you whether you want to accept that request or you want to deny that request. So there is a provision wherein Microsoft will take permission from you. Now, the most frequently asked question is, customer data processed by Azure OpenAI sent to OpenAI? So this is where most of the people are like very concerned about the data, the security aspect of it, and this is the point where I would rate Azure OpenAI the highest rank, because Azure OpenAI, when you're going with Azure OpenAI, your data is within the boundary of Azure. It is not going anywhere outside. It is not going to OpenAI servers, because everything is hosted inside Microsoft data centers. So everything is within the boundary of Azure. So you can read this. It is written over here clearly that, is customer data processed by Azure OpenAI sent to OpenAI? No. Microsoft hosts the OpenAI models within its own infrastructure, and all the customer data sent to Azure OpenAI remains within the Azure OpenAI service. So it means you are completely secure. Your data is completely secure when it comes to data leakage or breach. So if you have such sensitive data, it's a good time to move on to Azure OpenAI. Is customer data used to train OpenAI model? Of course not. Microsoft is not going to use its customers data to train its model. So I think this is the very good documentation. So just go ahead and see how it works for you. But again, as a like final point, I would say that if you're very much about your data, your security, your privacy, then Azure OpenAI could be the best fit for you as compared to OpenAI. So I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough, and I will definitely make lot many videos related to Azure OpenAI, and hope you will enjoy that content too. Thanks for watching.